Welcome in everybody to the very first episode of my Team career mode journey to becoming the greatest team in Formula One. Oh, it's been quite a journey to get to this point, so I'm very happy we've gotten here. This is a race you just do not want to miss. There was action from start to finish. Just when you thought things were settling down a bit, it ramped up again. So we're going to go through the race. It's going to be a bit of a longer episode because we're going to actually introduce the team. We're going to go through our engine supplier, our sponsors, our new second driver. So we will hand over to Will to start the introductions, and let's get cracking.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
As you mentioned there, Will, we're a team. We're in this 100% together. When we get going, we are going to be unstoppable.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
Well, Dan's a rookie driver. We're a rookie team at the moment, so hopefully he's going to come along that journey with us. We're going to be learning a lot, and hopefully he will add a lot to the team from that perspective as well.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
Well, we're not expecting it to feel like a Mercedes straight out of the box, but we've been working to make sure the car is as responsive as possible. It's definitely going to give us the edge going into the corners.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
I think what's key here is we're a new team. We've got fresh pairs of eyes on every department. So we can probably see a lot of things that the other teams that have been in Formula One for decades don't see. That's going to give us a huge advantage.
Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
Well, we've had a big focus on our chassis. We've developed an incredibly light car. It will help us with top speed and obviously through the corners. Durability will come. The engine manufacturer will focus on updates during the season as well, but that will help us to start with.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
Well, I'm proud of absolutely everyone, but the focus very early on is to be competitive straight out of the box. So our era team has just been fantastic so far.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
I don't know about you guys, but I think Will went quite easy on us, so that was very nice of him. So now that we've introduced the team and myself, it's time to unveil the wraps on the car. Our first title challenger, the RR1 from Rapid Racing. Let's get to it. Let's have a look at her. There we have it. The Rapid Racing RR1, looking an absolute picture. I think it looks fantastic. Would love everyone's opinions and comments on it. I've dabbled with a couple of different things, but that's where we've ended up. And I did mention we're going to skip a lot of the fluff that we could be including. We're going to get straight into it, straight into the first race of the season, the Bahrain Grand Prix. Let's head to practice.
Morning, boss. Jeff here. Thanks again for bringing me on board. You've found a lot of talented people for this team. I can't wait to see what we can accomplish. Our journey to the Constructors' Championship starts here today, and the car is ready to head out whenever you are.
The feeling's mutual, Jeff. Let's get to it. So we're going to use this first session as a bit of a shakedown, just to fill the car out and make sure that we're all good with everything. I'm not going to show too much in this first practice session. Running through the track acclimatization, and after P1 we are sitting at P20 after using just the hard compound tyre. Racing through now into FP2. There you go, we're running the tyre wear program, sweeping through that nice and swiftly. That's it, P2 is
And if
finalised.
today's practice is anything to go by,
P15,
we're in for an
everyone's using
exceptional
the softs,
weekend
that's a
of
good
Formula
indicator.
One.
We're quite strong against our teammate Dan Tigdom there, about 8 tenths in front. But where the real action happens, entering Q1, first time for us to show our stuff, so let's go take a look. Now the early splits putting us in about P8, that is far and away greater than what we thought we'd be seeing in the first part of qualifying. This is still Q1 to be fair, but we are not expecting to get out of this session. We're expecting to be down to probably 17th, 18th, maybe even 19th, 20th. But coming down the front straight, provisionally we're in 7th position.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:28.
Track evolution aside, that is remarkable to start the session, to start the day. That is, however, the only lap we will put down in Q1 because we've had an absolute tank slapper there on our second run. So that's all we've done. But as you can see, we have gotten out of Q1 at the first time of asking. So P12, a 1:28.202, absolutely phenomenal lap compared to our teammate as well. That is, we're doing very, very well and exceeding all expectations to start with. And we're going to make a debut appearance, not just in qualifying, not just in this Grand Prix, but actually in Q2 as well. So here we are, picking it up halfway through our Q2 lap. And 2 green personal best sectors. We are going to put down a 1:28.294. So actually just under a tenth slower than our Q1 time, so we haven't improved, even though the track has evolved and more rubber has been laid down. But we've stuck it on P12 on the grid for the first race of the season. Absolutely remarkable. Could not be any happier about that. That is an awesome showing in the first qualifying session. But now all that means is that it's time for the fun stuff.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. There's no shortage of passing opportunities around the 3.36 miles of the Bahrain International Circuit, with the best at turn 1, of course, and then another soon into turn 4. 15 corners here, 6 to the left and 9 to the right, and we could see 1 or 2 flat spots into the tight left-hander of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Lando Norris, and Perez, Vettel, Stroll, Leclerc, and Yuki Tsunoda, Sainz, Smith, Fernando Alonso, and Gasly, Ocon, Ticktum, Kimi Raikkonen, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, Mick Schumacher, Mazepin, and Nicholas Latifi. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Now, in true rookie style, something very awkward happened. We've lost the footage from the start of the race coming off the grid, so I'm going to revert to replay cameras just for the first 3 laps until we pick it up. So here we go, off to the grid. We made an absolutely awesome start from the grid up into P10 and P9 up into turn 1. Lofty heights for a brand new team in their first race of the season. We're in P8, settling in behind Dan Ricciardo, but Sebastian Vettel is probably going to fight us up into this one. Everyone's gotten away cleanly until we can't see it on this view, but there we go on the left-hand side there, the yellow SC for safety car. Nicholas Latifi has absolutely barreled into the Haas of Mick Schumacher. There we are, attempting a really audacious dive up the inside, and he has definitely come off worse for wear. So he's out of the Grand Prix. Here we can see riding on board with Nicholas, and everything looks to be in order. He shoots up the inside, misses his braking point, and he will depart the first Grand Prix of the year. So there we go. So we're back with our onboard cameras here on lap 4 after the safety car has come in. We don't delay our aggressive stage at all. We're into P5 now, shooting on the inside of Lance Stroll. He's going to try to swing into position, but it's elevated. And he's going to have another crack up the inside as well. We do yield the position. I didn't know it at the time, but we do have front wing damage. So our right front wing end plate has fallen off the car at some point during that melee on the first part of the first lap before the safety car was deployed. So we are very compromised in our pace here. Very, very young medium tyres, so we're not too disadvantaged against the soft runners, but that wing damage has really set us back in the early parts of this race until we pit. And had I known that at the time, I would have made a dive for the pit just to remain competitive for the rest of the Grand Prix, and probably gone for a longer stint on the hards as well. But hindsight, hey? Hindsight is a wonderful thing, and it wasn't to be. So coming up to the back straight, Yuki Tsunoda takes advantage of our compromised situation. He takes P6.
Make a mistake, you can still regain the position.
And we'll make a run up the inside, try and get him under brakes, come into the final corner. We will go the long way around. He's going to hold it. And we don't have DRS enabled at this point, so we're going to put the car into overtake. I've got Sebastian Vettel on the inside of Tsunoda. We're on the outside. And we're going to go the long way around, and we have made it stick. Up into P6 on the 5th lap of the race. And that was some fantastic moves. Just to show you how dramatic that was on the front straight. Getting up into the slipstream of Tsunoda. Vettel takes him on the inside, thinking that he would have the corner. And we are the latest of the late breakers. Oh, some fantastic action.
DRS is now enabled.
Talk about a debut. 6 laps in, P9, having a look up the inside of Dan Ricciardo, nothing doing. We are smelling blood. We are not on the best tyre strategy. We are compromised with front wing damage, but that's okay. Charles Leclerc now is in a similar mood. He is going to try and get up the inside. Oh! Bit too close for comfort. Young Charles, he has paid the price for trying to be a bit too ambitious there. So he's ceded the position, and look at this. He was going to take the position by being very well off course. Riding on board with Charles now, trying to well and truly jump the curves, and that is not on. So he loses that position, and I think he had to wait quite some time until he could rejoin as well safely. So he's really, really lost out. There you go, that big DRS queue of cars behind us. Charles is going to have to wait in line like a good boy. So we've got a good gap now to Fernando Alonso in 10th place. You can see we're really having to nurse the car around these corners, which is not ideal. So speeding things up. We're in a bit of a rhythm now, just kind of keeping things going, setting decent sector times. Nothing spectacular. Now coming onto the home straight, the very next lap, what you'll see is we actually join the podium in our first race. And what is even more remarkable, you'll find out as soon as we go past the start-finish line again. On lap 10, to start lap 10, is that we have just taken the lead of the Grand Prix. So in our inaugural race as the Rapid Racing F1 team, we are leading the way in the Bahrain Grand Prix. We are not going to stay here long, and that's okay. We're just happy to be in this position for the time being. This is a placeholder for the rest of the grid. So we're holding up Carlos Sainz. Again, we're not going to stay in front of him for very much longer. If anything, if the rest of the remainder of this lap would be nice. But we know what's happening here. And as we do go through, I will cut through a couple of different passing moves as well. Sainz gets us very soon after. Fernando Alonso we had a nice dice with as well, so you can see here he gets past us. We make a bit of a switchback maneuver and stay ahead to maintain that position. Fernando then gets, and Ocon gets swamped by Lewis Hamilton, who is the outright leader of the race, just shuffling through the track. So he gets Ocon, he makes quick work of Fernando Alonso as well. And he is hugging my gearbox, and on one of the quickest corners of the track, he just makes it look like an absolute hit. We know at this point, and we just have the tyre graphic pop up as well, we know that we're going to be called into the pits very shortly. And seeing just how easy it was to pass us, Fernando wants to make it two in very quick succession as well. We're going to dispute this position. We're going to see if we can do a bit of a switchback on the first corner, and we cannot. He gets a much better exit, much better traction for the exit there. But again, we are going to do our bit. We've got DRS, we've got the inside line, and avoiding a Charles Leclerc situation, jumping over the curb, staying on track, but have not been able to get that done. And our job now is his teammate Esteban Ocon. We do get the notification on the front straight the very next time around that the pit window is open and we are going to be boxing for the hard compound tyres. Very timely because I don't think I can put anybody behind us. So on lap 13 we box for a set of hards. And this is going to be very interesting. This is the first opportunity for the Rapid Racing team to show their stuff at pit stop in a live race situation. This is where, during the race, I realised that our front wing sustained damage on the first lap. Such a shame, but that's okay. We live and we learn. And we get it done in 2.4 seconds. Very good showing from the team at the first time of asking. Very professional job. They've gotten us out just behind George Russell in P19. It is also still a bit of an artificial indicator because we do have a couple of other cars that haven't pitted ahead of us. And here we go. So in his first race also, the rookie Dan Ticktum, our teammate, has come off. Dan's not having the best of afternoons, but he fights to live another day with the huge runoff areas that we've got here at the Shakir Grand Prix circuit. So he's still in good shape to make a strong showing towards the end of the race. So trying to stay close to George Russell. As we see, a couple of people have pit, Mick Schumacher, Antonio Giovinazzi, we get through. And we get past George Russell on the outside on the front straight as well. Dan, our teammate, has just pitted. He could very well have flat spotted some of his tyres in that spin a short while ago. Here's a nice replay of us getting up the outside of George Russell. He doesn't dispute the situation. He knows that we're in a faster car. But power units aside, he is going to dispute that position as long as he can. And this sequence here starts here we go. So Lando Norris has pulled up short. So in another replay camera, I did see a puff of smoke from the gearbox of the car. So we can assume that's a blown engine. The very first race of the season. Very unfortunate for Lando because he was on the podium at the time. So Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen get past Lando. They continue on their track to try and close out this race on the podium. Fast forwarding now to lap 19, and our back end is getting very squirrely coming out of that one. Heading up to turn 10, Yuki Tsunoda gets past quite comfortably up the inside. And not too much we can do about that. We've got Giovinazzi behind us. And we are targeting a bit of a rivalry with the Alfa Romeos. They're around on par with us on the performance index. And another tank slapper. So just like we had in qualifying in Q2. And we still can't get the car pointed in the right direction. Oh, what a calamity. As I said, everyone, rookie driver, we are learning a lot. And I should have been able to rejoin, but no. Got a bit too happy on the gas. Spun it around again. We do rejoin behind Giovinazzi. We've made an excellent run coming up to the final corner. We do steal that position back. And this really starts a sequence. The last 6 or 7 laps of this race are bananas, to say the least. You can see George Russell there getting up the inside of Giovinazzi into the first corner. Jeff tells us we're struggling with tyres. We can see that based on the smoke that's spiraling around our car every time we turn around. George is absolutely flying coming up to this corner. So he gets us up the inside. We're going to try and stay as close as we can because we know this fight's not over. And bear in mind, we don't have front wing damage anymore, so we are competitive. We're on the same tyre strategy as George Russell. We're our tyres are a lap or so older. But we're able to fight this. We're able to stay in this battle. As long as we can, and you can hear I'm not going flat through that corner anymore based on what's just happened. So George gets us up the inside on turn 10. Charles Leclerc does as well, but we are not fighting him. Our fight is with George Russell and Giovinazzi. And we try and get the move done again on turn 1. We do make it stick. George is hugging up behind us, but we've got DRS. He does not. So we're able to streak away into the distance for now, and we really miss our braking point on that one. And there we go. Again, we're really not comfortable in this tyre compound. I think that's something we're going to have to address for the Spanish Grand Prix, just to see what we can do to manage the tyre temps on this compound. We're absolutely rocket ship fast on the straights, and there you go. We get George again on the home straight, but we're kind of powerless once we get into the infield. Get into the twisty stuff. You can see again. Anywhere there's a corner involved, George will make a run, and if he gets DRS assistance as well, it makes it much easier. We're on lap 28, so we are really fighting this to see. At the end of the day, it matters not one bit. We are not going to score points in this Grand Prix. George isn't either, he knows that. This is a battle for pride. Quick replay here of T1 on lap 28, just to see how much we are both battling tooth and nail to stay ahead of each other in this. It's almost like karting. It's just pure driving, wheel to wheel action. Neither of us wanting to see the position. And if it couldn't get any more interesting, we're entering now the last lap of the race. Coming through this complex, we absolutely lose the back end, and we've taken George with us. We dodged to avoid him there, coming on the exit of that corner, and we've lost our whole front wing assembly.
There's been an incident.
But George has been taken out as a result. So just rewinding here, the first corner, coming into the next area where he gets DRS assistance, he comes right up to the back of us, as he has done for the last 6 laps. This battle is one for the ages. So we hold the position, we cover off nicely there, but coming out of this chicane, we touch a little bit too much curve and we absolutely lose the back end. But as we're spinning and spiraling out of control, George, the innocent bystander who has won that position, he gets taken out. He takes out his frustration on the signboard there as well. He doesn't have too much damage, but he is going to do the gentleman George thing and wait for the others to come past before he enters safely. We nurse our car with our front wing, and we do take P14 on debut. If this is repeated in Barcelona, guys, we are in for one heck of a season. That was fantastic.
That's it for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain, and a real champion's drive to take the win. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So, let's review the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship after an excellent result. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I'll probably go for Pierre Gasly. The team did a good job with the strategy to put him in amongst the pack, but it's the driver's job to capitalise on those opportunities, and he did so with a lot of skill.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull take over as championship leaders. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, I personally can't wait for the next one. Barcelona is set up tantalisingly. So we finished P14. Dan ends up recovering a little bit after that late spin to P17. Wow. I don't know if I've fully got my breath back after that one. Imagine what we could have done if we had a two-stop strategy and we knew that there was front wing damage after the first lap. I still don't know where that came from. I've looked through all the replays. I cannot see a pink end plate coming off at any point along the journey. That little tap there with Lance Stroll, you would think would have been the indicator, but no. It's yeah, I don't know what that was or where it was, or you know, if it came up on the MFD, which it did not. But wow, let's regroup. Let's see what resource points we've got, what facility upgrades and upgrades we can bring to the table for Barcelona. That's going to be a tough one. That is not traditionally a good race for new teams. So we will do our best to come back stronger and see what we can do in that one. So look forward to seeing everyone there. Leave a like, subscribe, put any comments in the section below.